shot onto Ratify, there's always that follow-up fear if Raikou can land the polymorph. And with Ascendant, there has been some setups where Ratify can't get that fear, and that comes down to that Rogue Priest synergy, because the Rogue Priest are what enables the mage to shine and land those polys. And actually, I think Mara has been the MVP so far for Ascendant in the previous match.
Well, it is a mirror matchup to kick off our grand final. It all comes down to who the best truly is.
All right, let's see. Acro was both crossing the map, looking for that sap early on from the mage, but Acro being found. He actually got the sap onto Raikou. This could be forced trinket and a slight lead for Ascendant as Ratify moves forward. There's the cheap shot onto Raikou. Ratify, though, getting intercepted with a kidney shot. Raikou did use the human racial to trinket and get a ring of frost as they were looking to set up on Acro. And it seems to be Method Black's strategy to go after the rogue quite a lot. They get a cloak of shadows, but no trinket. It's not a huge advantage there. Ratify caught into a fear. They're still just going after Acro. Maybe back on tomorrow now with the polymorph secured. Both priests into polymorphs. The mages are under fire. Temporal shield, though, for Raikou. Should be able to bounce his health back to a healthy margin. Now immediately chunked back down, though, and that's going to be the first ice block. This is a lead for Ascendant.
Yeah, Method Black was able to get the pain suppression in the opener, but that's really it. Master Spell comes in. Flurry comes in from Maro as well. Big damage over onto Raikou. Looks like Chaz going to drop that power word barrier to keep Raikou alive. That's the Archangel, the Raptor, power word barrier. Everything used by Chaz very early on. He still has his trinket. There's a kidney shot over onto Raikou. His Acro, I'm not sure what he's doing right now. He's running away, realizing maybe he could be in a little bit of trouble. He wants to just stall out the game, go for a re-stealth. He realizes that Method Black has been swapping to him quite a bit.
Yeah, and now he's going to open with a cheap shot on Waz. Acro is definitely afraid of going down. You can see that Method Black have instilled the fear of death into him. He's playing much more defensive-oriented. We see Raikou getting kicked. There's the frozen orb. He can't blink out of it, and that's a lot of damage. It could easily be the second ice block. There's still more. That's the second ice block. Ratify moving in. Master Spell. Waz is right on top of him. Ratify's trying to fake cast. He gets kidney shot away, but Raikou cancels. He blinks away, but he can still easily go down. That's a lot of damage still available. Waz is doing everything he can. Defensive blind used on tomorrow, but Acro is all over him with a blind and no trinket. Raikou is easily going to go down. He hangs on by a thread with that spell steal, but it's not enough. Ascendant are going to be claiming game number one.
And that's that aggression that we love to talk about from Ascendant. They're going to get that early win here in the way that they like to play the game. Now, when we did watch that first series, it was pretty much the same thing. Ascendant was able to come out very quickly, pick up that win. But this could also be an indication that they're just coming out, like Supati's maybe alluded to, on fire here, Zico.
Yeah, I mean, they just came off of that Tempo Storm series, and not only that, they just lost pretty convincingly to Method Black before, so they kind of got a feel of the matchup, and now they have a chance to kind of go back and be a bit more hungry, because I think Method Black, they've won three, well, this could potentially be their fourth cup in a row that they win, so is the hunger still there for Method Black? I mean, they are pretty much guaranteed to go to the summer finals. They are pretty much guaranteed to go to BlizzCon as well. So Ascendant, however, they didn't even show up in the top 8 for the last tournament. They need this win, and this is really their chance to show that. So I think Ascendant is definitely more hungry, and it showed in that first game.
You know, I'm going to say right now, I think Ascendant is in more dire straits. I think they definitely do need it more. I don't think there's any disputing that, but Method Black is a team made out of pure hunger. I mean, they were made out of wanting to win BlizzCon. You got to think about all the history in the squad. You got to think about Raikou and Waz failing year after year at achieving their goal of winning BlizzCon. They made this entire squad around that idea, and going down here is not going to be something that sits well with them, Zico.
Yeah, I mean, this could shake things up, but they did lose the game one in the previous series, so potentially they might just, you know, brush it off their shoulders and move forward with the series. And
this would be their fourth cup in a row, though. Like, that's actually, or not in a row.
Yeah, it is a row.
It is in a row.
The
Yeah,
fourth one.
They lost the first cup.
they've won every cup since.
Oh my God. Like, that's actually nasty when you say it like that. It's weird because there's like that break in between with the land. So it's like, oh, they're not all in a row, but it's like, wait, what? Actually insane if they are able to do it. And with that, they're the leading point earner so convincingly in the entire world. I mean, right now, I'm not sure if it's still the same. Who's the leading point earner in NA? Is it still Method Orange?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so the thing is they have not won every cup, not at all. So you do start to see just how far ahead Method Black really has been. And ultimately, they are going to be locking in this mirror again, guys. Will Method Black be able to pull down this second game, or will Ascendant start to get that convincing lead? This is I'm like so blown away right now. It's like one of those little things that it just hadn't registered until right now. It's like, yeah, of course that's right, but oh my goodness, the weight of that's just absolutely insane. Ven, in all of your years of competing and commentating, have you ever seen a team that has had just so many convincing seasons as these gates are about to open?
Not that I can really remember. They've just been doing such a good job multi-classing, playing all the best comps at the highest level. It really is beautiful to watch.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, the gates have opened. Ascendant lead this best of 7 grand final series. They're looking to overthrow Method Black as the 4-time cup in a row, or 3-time cup in a row champions, and they're looking to make a 4th. We see a sap on Maru. Let's see how devastating Waz can make this initial attack. Chaz is right on top of him as well. Now moving over to Rattapie, just hear a Psychic Scream. Chaz is going to get stunned away. Eben Bolt attempt from Raikou, not able to land that just yet. We see Maru with Icy Veins used very early on, or actually spell stealing potentially from Raikou. We see a double Psychic Scream. Raikou is the one who's going to be on the back foot initially as a result of this. The damage is flying forward. This could be the first Ice Block. Rattapie not able to master spell as he is polymorphed away. Raikou actually choosing to cancel the Ice Block and try and reverse the pressure, but there's so much damage. Raikou and Waz both dangerously low. Chaz is doing his best to pick both members back up. There's a smoke bomb from Acro, but not really going to be capitalizing too much on the back of that. Raikou getting counterspelled. Acro in hot pursuit, and right now Ascendant have a massive lead.
Full Ring of Frost on Chaz. Raikou still in a lot of trouble. He blinks away. Paint Suppression going to be committed by Chaz as well, as Acro looking to reconnect to his target. Raikou doing a good job slowing him down with those polymorphs, with the Frost Nova, but Rattapie putting out a whole bunch of damage. Chaz with the pendants might be able to keep him alive. There's a kidney shot on Rattapie. He actually uses the Human Trinket as well as the Premonition to get out of that, but a nice fear coming in from Chaz into the ring, so Rattapie is going to be crowd controlled up, but the damage for Method Black just isn't there. They survive that CC chain. Acro and Maru basically taking 0 damage.
Yeah, Maru in a good position. It would force him to overextend, but Acro is maybe going for a restart there. Well, it doesn't ultimately matter. The sap ends up breaking. Rattapie moving across the map. He wants to try and get a Psychic Scream out of this kidney shot that Acro is setting up. This is the crowd control chain that could force the second Ice Block if Acro can stun lock Raikou. There's the stun lock on the Psychic Scream. Maru needs to dish out the damage. There's the Frozen Orb, forcing the block. Rattapie lands a massive spell. Ascendant are all on top of Raikou. There's a dangerous Eben Bolt being casted, but he's trying to fake cast Waz at the same time. Rattapie now getting kidney shot. Raikou looking to reverse this pressure, but Rattapie preemptively uses Pain Suppression to soak a lot of this damage. Will the Pain Suppression be enough to keep Maru alive and hold on to the block? No, it won't. And that means that this attempt now puts them 2 cooldowns behind. It seems like Method Black are trying to fight this back, but Maru still has a lead with 1 more Ice Block.
Yeah, Watch is sitting in stealth though. Raikou blinking over with the Eben Bolt. He got sapped. Very nicely done by Watts. This is a nice setup from Method Black with the smoke bomb. Blinks out of it immediately into a kidney shot. Cheap shot on Rattapie. Maru taking a little bit of damage, but I think he's going to be able to survive here. Rapture available for Rattapie. The powered shield spam will be enough to keep him alive. But Method Black is the one that has basically nothing left. Full fear over onto Chaz. Can Maru find the follow-up polymorph? No, he cannot. Waz doing a good job slowing that down. Kidney shot onto Chaz, looking for the Ring of Frost. He uses the Human Trinket, the Premonition, but the polymorph lands anyways. This is disaster for Method Black, but Raikou doing a good job realizing the situation. He's going to be hightailing it out of there.
Yeah, but now sneaking in a polymorph. This could be the second Ice Block for Maru. What's he going to do? He's trying to blink away and kite Waz. Waz not able to catch up just yet. Maru knows that he needs to spam polymorph defensively, and as both teams are beginning to stabilize, but Maru still has a lead with an Ice Block, but they could force it right here and even this game up. Eben Bolt will force the block. They master spell it. They could KO him. They're purging off the powered shields. Penances are flying in. Both penances on Maru. Maru restabilized, but we're completely even at this point with no Ice Blocks available for the mages. How are the priests going to deal with this? Chaz has gone to a polymorph. Everyone in crowd control. Raikou Trinket's out to get that temporal shield. He needs a couple more seconds. They purge it off. They race to the finish. A Psychic Scream. Chaz likely needs to trinket this. They're trying to hold on to it with the defensive blind on Maru, but there's no trinket. He's not trinketing out, and Raikou will ultimately go down. I can understand why Chaz would want to hold on to it, to use it on the blind later on, but in that particular moment, there was nothing that could have kept him going.
Oh, Acro did such a good job finishing off Raikou there, making sure he had the follow-up CC on Chaz as well. Beautifully done. Maru had to sit an entire blind into a sap. Waz really tried to peel that situation, but ultimately didn't work out.
This is one of those series where you look at it, yes, we're seeing it for the second time today, and you go, if we saw 100 games, it would probably be 50-50 a lot of the times. And it's just,
what does this put them at?
In total, well, the last series was 3-1. We started at 9-10.
They were 12 and 10.
It's 13-12 right now.
Yep.
it's actually just nuts. Like, it's actually just nuts. This has been a giant series that's been going on the entire year, basically. And right now, Ascendant trying to pull ahead, and they're doing a very good job. And I want to talk about the first play right now, Zico. We saw Raikou try to get very aggressive in the face of getting aggressed upon. As a mage, what did you think about that play?
I mean, that's something that you have to do sometimes. If your team pulls the trigger and you are in ice block, that's just the way it is. You sometimes have to leave that ice block and try to land the crowd control that your team needs, but it's a little bit forced when you do that, and for the most part, it doesn't work out that great when you do it. But I feel like if you just wait as well, then you are forced to be in a situation where you're allowing the other RMP to essentially get a secondary opener or secondary setup before you do. And then there is the Chaz really should have trinketed there, but I mean, he could have gotten DR blinded, he could have gotten stunned. There's not really much Chaz can do at that point to save his mage. It really just comes down to the fact that Ascendant just played this match way better than Method Black did, despite Method Black also having the best possible scenario opener where they actually sap Maro.
This is actually just an insane series. Like, there's just so many things to think about. Like, you have to be thinking about Method Black, the fact that they are so good on the Rogue Mage still when they have all these other comps, but the fact that those other comps just do not matter in the series is insane. You have the Rogue Mage Pride on the line. It's an EU tournament, and all of a sudden we're back to Rogue Mage mirrors, which we haven't seen in a while. It really just hasn't been the flavor of EU, even though typically it is the flavor of EU. And Ascendant just being, I mean, when would you really say, Supati's, Ascendant kind of broke out as this aggressive Rogue Mage? I mean, it's been
last year
Rockets.
I mean,
yeah, it was Rockets with Ratipai, and then so I guess that's been what? It's over a year though that we've really thought of them as the most aggressive Rogue Mage.
I mean, Ratipai is kind of the pinnacle for aggressive Rogue Mage Priest, and on that Priest role, and we're kind of seeing that difference here in this series because Waz is focused so much on defense. He's used 2 blinds on the Mage to try and keep the game going, and it really feels like Method Black are the ones trying to just get a stable footing to then push back, whereas Ascendant are just, we're going forward. If you get in our way, we're just knocking you down. So maybe both teams just need to go head to head and try and risk that, because right now the defensive option is looking like it's just not enough. It's
so crazy to see these two teams, like how they were formed too. Like I mentioned it earlier, but Method Black, I mean, this team comes together with one purpose, and that is to win BlizzCon. They separate from people that they've played with for years. They break apart one of the longest running teams that just always fell short of BlizzCon, but was still considered one of the best teams in the world. And you can say just had some of the most disappointing performances. I mean, not even really making it where they needed to make it last year. That is the entire reason Method Black has come together. They're on an absolute warpath, and now Ascendant showing, hey, look, when it comes to mirrors, we are just as good as you, and we are going to try to win this tournament.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're jumping into Ashamane's Fall. This is game number 3. If Ascendant can win 2 more in a row, it would be quite the upset against Method Black, who have won the past 3 EU Cups in a row. Let's see if Ascendant can overthrow them here as the gates have opened.
Yep, both Acro and Waz going to be moving in, looking for an opener here. Waz actually holding on to his sprint, which we haven't really seen too much of. So he's going to be taking a little bit more of a defensive approach. Acro already pulling the trigger on that cooldown. Maro in invisibility. Both these mages will be out of invisibility shortly, so the action should start soon.
Yeah, both mages just bouncing around, looking to find each other. Maro gets mass dispelled out. Let's see if Waz is going to try and capitalize on that. Acro moves over, kidney shot on Chaz. I don't think he's going to get a polymer from Maro. Gets shut down by a counterspell from Raikou. Great temporal shield as well. Raikou disabling this opener quite effectively. Now popping Icy Veins to rotate the pressure. Maro equally answering that with a temporal shield of his own. So both mages trying to predict the damage and get ahead of it. Temporal shields are now out of the way, which means they will be exposed. We see a sap onto Ratipai. Use pain suppression preemptively as well. So there's a lead for Method Black as they swap to Acro. They managed to get his trinket and his Cloak of Shadows without the smoke bomb. They could switch back to him later.
Yeah, Acro actually just preemptively trinketed out there as they were attacking Maro as well, so they really have put the fear of death into Acro in this matchup. Cheap shot spam over onto Raikou, full Ring of Frost onto Chaz. This could be the first ice block as Ratipai loads up the Light's Wrath there. Put out some pressure on him, but it looks like he is going to be able to survive fear onto Chaz. Raikou still in some trouble. Doesn't want to get too low with that ice block, but Chaz comes out with the Archangel, able to easily top him off.
Yeah, now Maru is in trouble with Radopi going into a full polymorph method. Black look to pull the trigger and strike back. They get the first ice block of the game. That's going to be a massive lead. Chaz landing a Mass Dispel. Waz in hot pursuit, sprinting after him. It's important they save that sprint because now he's able to easily reconnect. Maru gets the temporal shield up though, soaks a bunch of that damage. Now Chaz is the one in a polymorph. Raikou could be in trouble. He's going to trinket up, but gets stunned on his trinket by Acro. Another cheap shot. Does he have enough damage to end this? There's a sap now into Chaz. That's going to be a nice block from him. Radopi lining up the Master Spell. Powered shield though, not going to be removed. Raikou will recover. Now we're tied. Chaz used the trinket. Radopi ahead in that sense. So Ascendant are looking good in this position.
Yeah, very, very good. And no one on Method Black has a trinket at this point. Full polymorph over on a Radopi. Cheap shot onto Acro once again. Who is Method Black targeting? It looks like Maru is the target of choice, but he's doing a good job with his blinks, with his polymorphs. Actually lands a full polymorph over onto Chaz, and now the stuns are going to be landing over onto Raikou. Ascendant's time to get aggressive here, but Maru still could be in some trouble. Radopi actually goes into the full blind there. Both Priest and blind. That's basically the exact same time. Temporal shield activated by Maru as he's still trying to kite around the best he can. Full sap over onto Chaz into a fear. Evan Bolt cast out by Maru, looking to get some damage onto Raikou, but nice done by Raikou.
Whoa! It's completely deleted
Ascendant.
at the end of that game.
Holy smokes! Like, this is actually crazy for this series. I mean, they're on match point in a best-of-7 series. They might sweep Method Black, literally the squad that... I mean, a very intelligent, good-looking man predicted that this squad is going to win BlizzCon, and that came from a place of sheer intelligence. And now they are getting smoked in the grand finals of this second Summer Cup. Actually, just nutty. I mean, the thing is you look at the series count, and it was like we know that Ascendant's getting
tied. No,
it's
actually it's 14-13.
It's 14-13. Yeah.
Oh, math.
I mean, I'm terrible at it too. Wow. Zico, how on earth was that quick kill able to come in?
I think it was because of Maru. He made such a nice MVP play. Radopi was polymorphed up. Actually, we can take a look at that right here. You can see Radopi is right here, polymorphed up, and you can see Chaz is moving across right there to get that beautiful fear out. But what ends up happening is that Acro kidneys Chaz right there before the fear. Maru deflects the situation by pre-blinking one step right there and landing a poly out of that. And that kind of resets the situation here because Chaz doesn't have a trinket, and there is the full blind. And there Radopi makes a big misplay, using his human racial on that kidney shot. And despite of that, Ascendant are still going to be able to turn the pressure around here onto Waz. Beautiful DR sap from Acro, beautiful Ebon Bolt cast. Raikou blinks it, and Acro here is definitely the one initiating this swap, and there it is. Big Ebon Bolt onto Waz. Penance is flying in, Ice Nova, and of course that Cold Blood, the artifact from Subrogue is going to be enough to take Waz down and put Method Black on match point, and that's got to sting for a lot of people in chat.
I mean,
78% to be exact.
Probably by the end of the series, or by the beginning of the series too, is probably like 88 too. Like everybody's just like, oh, if everybody else said it, may as well. That's how I vote for things. But ultimately, you got to say, with a team that's two teams that are 13 and 14 against each other, 4 more games, Ascendant's got to pull down one. Honestly, like it just seems like it would be something that happens. This is just such a crazy tall order for Method Black to actually serve up. They need to reverse sweep. Obviously, though, this isn't going to be anything that involves too much countercomping. The maps are going to favor them both to the same level, being the same composition. This all comes down to just who the best really is, and that's been a question that we haven't been able to answer yet between these two teams. I think you can say, yes, Method Black is the better team right now as far as they have more compositions, they have more tournament success, they look really good for the entire year. But when it comes to this sheer matchup between these two teams head-to-head, we haven't really been able to say that there is a clear winner between these two squads in this Rogue Mage matchup. This is just such a great way to end this cup, and You know, do you think Method Black could be able to get this? Well, yes, they can, but how would they be able to get a reverse sweep like this in a scenario like this?
I don't know. Ascendant looks like they're playing phenomenally. They must have learned some lessons from the last series they had. I think even swap. I think that's the first time we've seen Waz die in a swap like that from Ascendant. Normally they just go after the mage exclusively, but that was a nice swap coming in, actually taking a page from Method Black. So kind of adopting to what they saw in the last series, and now they've been able to implement they've been able to implement that themselves.
I feel you right now. I can't.
I know.
I can't even. I can't even sit in the chair. I'm moving around and stuff, just waiting to get into the next game. This is just as someone who loves watching. I really love watching Rogue Mage mirrors. It's something that just really do enjoy. And watching this mirror is just the best one to watch because you have Method Black that they just do random stuff all the time, and they find these random kills. And then you have Ascendant that just are just so aggressive that they find almost like that random opening, but it's not a random opening. They just punch the hole through a wall. They're like the Hulk, and they just run through a building. And the young rat is the fist of the Hulk.
I don't think random is really the best word to describe what this mirror is in particular. I think both teams are calculated and very precise.
It's so calculated
that it's random.
Yeah.
That it's random.
That's not a thing.
This final is completely RNG.
You know what I mean, though? I didn't mean it's not textbook. It's not something that you go, oh, they're going to pull this, and then they're going to go on to this, and then they are going to find the win. It's, oh my goodness, they found this opening, even though it doesn't seem like it's something on script, and they get a kill that they shouldn't typically get. And it is off of just insane mastery that Method Black does have, but on the other end, Ascendant has a completely different skill, and that is punching hole through walls. We used to call him the young rat, now we're calling him the young fist. Ratapie smashing through the competition. With Acrolals and Maro, will Ascendant be able to find the quick 4-0 to close out this EU tournament?
We may be crowning a new king of EU here and now. This is match point for Ascendant as they lead the series 3-2-0. Method Black need to reverse sweep 4 in a row if they want to keep their string alive.
Yeah, Sap on to Raikou right now. Waz looking to play a little bit of defense right now. Nice life grip coming in from Chaz. Raikou was way too exposed in that position. Acro's now easily able to get the follow-ups done over onto Chaz because they were positioned so closely. Raikou's going to trick it out of that immediately. He's going to be blinking away, trying to avoid some damage. But a nice counterspell coming in from Maro. That is the pain suppression, I believe, coming in from Ratapie onto Maro to keep him aggressive in this situation.
But both Acro and Ratapie have been locked out of the fight for quite some time. It's been a 3-on-1. Chaz lines up that massive spell. They're gunning for Maro's life. Ratapie trinkets out. Rapture denies the kill for now, but this is a significant lead for Method Black. Chaz into a kidney shot. Maro needs to capitalize on this. They secure the polymorph, but a nice Frost Nova on Acro's denying the reconnect. He gets out of it for just a second, but they can't get onto Raikou. Chaz still into the Psychic Scream. They still can't get onto Raikou. They drop the smoke bomb. They go straight for Maro. He trinkets out. He blinks on the smoke bomb, reconnecting with Ratapie, but Method Black have all the momentum this match.
Yeah, kidney shot onto Ratapie. Chaz in position for a full fear. Maro might be going into his second ice block, but inevitable being cast out by Maro's. Ratapie is feared up as well. Cheap shot onto Waz. He uses the evasion, he uses his trinket, he uses basically everything to keep himself alive. Full blind onto Acro as well. Maro into that second ice block. Method Black looks on fire.
Maro gets Master Spelled out. He's down 2 ice blocks. This is a massive lead for Method Black. This looks like a completely different team in this series, this match. Ratapie trying to recover. I really don't know what they can do. Maybe swap to Waz with no trinkets. Other than that, I mean, Raikou is just so massively ahead. Maro, what can he do to stay alive? He's in the middle of the map. He's trying to stay aggressive and make something happen. Waz gets cheap shot. They are going after the rogue, but it's too predictable. He's going to take absolutely no damage, and the Method Black are in insane lead at this point.
Raikou just did an excellent job playing defense there with the counterspell on Maro with the polymorph spam as well. They had no chance of taking down Waz. Good burst onto Raikou with the full polymorph secured onto Chaz. It's inevitable being cast out by Maro. First ice block forced out. Ratapie getting feared up as he charges on top of Chaz. Now Raikou with his own Ebon Bolt trying to connect some damage, but Maro out of line of sight, nowhere to be found.
Yeah, but Ratapie still in a full polymorph, and Maro has nothing left to stay alive. He's going to get taken down by Waz, and Method Black are not going to let this finals walk away from them without a fight, taking it in game 4.
They're not going to go down without a fight indeed. Method Black going to be able to pick up their first win. It's not going to be a clean sweep. It's not going to be a 4-0. Ascendant, though, still primed to take it, but Method Black, you kept saying it throughout the entire game, they looked like a new team to you. Zico, what changed? What switch was flipped where all of a sudden Method Black looked to be in just such a strong position throughout the entirety of that game?
I think they just all stepped up, honestly. It felt like everyone was playing out of their mind this game. Waz did such a phenomenal job controlling everything. Chaz did such a phenomenal job with the master spells, with the mind control, and I mean Raikou did such a phenomenal job as well in the opener, getting that double Ring of Frost. Method Black just turned up this game. It was crazy.
It's also, so the thing that we need to think about is, yes, they all brought it up to the next level, but they need to play at that level every single game here and out. And I don't feel like many of us actually understand mentally what that's like. Ven, you're one of the few people in the world who really does. Is there an amount of pressure that after you have a game like that actually makes it more difficult, where you're like, oh my God, I got to do that every single time because that's the only way we're going to win the series, need to play? Or is it like, okay, we can do this because we just did it when our backs were already against the wall?
Well, that's the thing about Method Black, is they have already beaten Ascendant. They were down, they lost the first game, they won 3 in a row. Now they're basically in that same position. They need to win 3 in a row. They've done it before, they can do it again. I mean, it might seem insurmountable to some, but if these guys play calm, cool, collected, play their best, they definitely have a great shot at taking the series.
We're also, I just want to bring up, because we keep talking about it, if you're not doing the math at home, completely tied up now, right? It's 14-14 between these two squads.
15-13.
15-13.
I was going to say for a second, I was trusting you, and I was like, should I trust you?
Math with Rich is the worst segment of the show.
Just like chalkboard.
Always have it every weekend.
All right.
Weekend we do it, and every weekend is the same.
I quit math, but Method Black has not quit winning. Not yet. They're going to keep chugging along here. They have kept themselves alive. Ascendant just 1 game away from taking it. This is the summer Cup number 2 for EU. There is only 1 cup left, and then after that, all of those points going to determine who does actually go to those summer finals. My goodness, we just couldn't have a better mirror matchup, but let's take a look at how Method was able to take it here.
Yeah, and just this clip right here is so important because it highlights everything that Waz does to actually put himself ahead. And I think that if we go back and just quickly rewatch what happens after we've played through it, we can see exactly why those tiny things that happens end up happening. So here, we talked about how good it is to get the sap on the mage because it gives you this opener where you can dispel him and you can get that big opener where you're most likely going to force an ice block. Now, what ends up happening here is Raikou is sapped, Chaz is kidney shotted right there, and Ratapai is right here, and he is going to go for the fear. Now, if we play this clip in slow motion, we can see exactly what happens here, what Waz does to prevent Raikou from having to ice block here. So Chaz gets kidney shotted, Ratapai moves in for the fear, and then Waz kidney shots Ratapai, sheep shots Maro, sheep shots Acro, and then Maro trinkets late into a polymorph, and he does manage to get that re, but when that is going on, because both Rata and Acro are sheep-shotted, that means Raikou can get that big Ring of Frost, and instead of Raikou having to use his ice block, because of the control that his rogue did, by controlling the enemy rogue and the other 2 members of the team, Chaz gets to sit a full polymorph, and they are the ones forcing not only the ice block, but the pain suppression as well. And it's small things like that that really make Waz just stand out.
Don't you do it, Rich.
We've talked about numbers throughout this entire series. I'm not going to do it. We've talked about numbers throughout this entire series, but none of that matters now because we are on Ruins of Lordaeron, and it
would be a fitting final resting place. Indeed.
I wouldn't want it to be my resting place. Just saying.
It's too spooky?
Yep, a little bit too spooky. Prefer Ashmane's Fall. But both of these rogues are going to be sitting in stealth, looking for an opener right now. We'll have to see how that plays out. Acro in position right now on top of Chaz. Going to be looking for that kidney shot. He decides to pull the trigger, moving over onto Raikou, but he gets Ice Nova'd out. Nicely done by Raikou.
All right, Chaz, both priests got into a kidney shot with no follow-up, so let's see if they can avoid the polymorphs later on. Radopi does not. It's going to be a bit of a lead for Method Black, and they're going after Acro. There's no Cloak of Shadows and no Trinket. He's very low on health. He actually drops the Smoke Bomb defensively, and Acro is kind of just flailing to stay alive at this point. Method Black are in complete domination. Radopi trying to pick him back up. Penance will save him for now, but with Acro having no Trinket, no Cloak of Shadows, he's going to be an opening target that Radopi needs to keep his focus on, and if he has to worry about his mage and the rogue, this is a dangerous situation to be on. Waz drops the Smoke Bomb. They're looking for the first ice block from Maru. They're holding on to it for now, blinking away, looking to try and reverse the pressure, but gets counterspelled on the polymorph. Chaz is broken out of that crowd control chain, and Method Black are just an entirely new team at this point.
Yeah, they have controlled this game from start to finish. A little bit of burst now going over onto Raikou. He trinkets out of the blind. That's going to be his Rapture and his Archangel to keep Raikou alive. Uses the Temporal Shield as well, so small little victory there for Ascendant. Kidney shot over onto Radopi. Maru looking for the follow-up CC.
Triple.
He manages to land the Ring of Frost. Nice cross CC coming in there, but Maru's the one that's going to be in a little bit of trouble. Pain suppression from Radopi, though, does manage to keep him alive, but still the Ice Block gets forced out.
And Mass Dispel will connect, so Maru needs to try and retreat away while Radopi is still polymorphed up. That polymorph is now faded. Radopi with Archangel channels a massive penance. Acro landing a cheeky sap onto Waz as he was trying to cross the map to crowd control the enemy healer. Chaz now into a polymorph as Ascendant are looking to strike back. They need to try and get a block with this polymorph from Raikou. Ebon Bolt is being channeled. How's Raikou going to deal with it? He's going to just ice block it. He doesn't want to risk that getting a lucky critter just being really high in damage. Radopi's first ice block has now been forced, and this game is starting to even up.
Yeah, kidney shot on Radopi. It looks like Raikou's looking for the CC, but Acro doing a good job. Chaz pushes in, gets the fear. Second ice block coming in from Maru. Gets Mass Dispelled. Cheap shot. He gets life gripped away by Radopi, who has to trinket to keep him alive. Definitely not the best spot to be in. Major defensive overlaps, the trinket and the ice block. The ice block and the pain suppression has put Ascendant greatly behind in this matchup.
Yeah, Ascendant's path to victory now, I think, is a swap to Waz. They've got a kidney shot on Chaz. Maru lying for Ring of Frost, looking for Polly. Gets stunned. A great shutdown from Waz, removing Maru from the fight. Because Radopi tricketed earlier, he does not have a trinket for this blind crowd control chain. This is going to be a very long chain. Double Ring of Frost. Raikou landing double after double, and that's going to be an easy game 5. We're going back. This can easily be a reverse sweep for Method Black.
They're schooling him.
They have their backs against the wall. They don't feel the pressure at all. They're just able to get right back to it. They figure out what was going wrong, and now they've almost tied up this series. One game till they tie it. It may go all the way to that game 7. It may be a reverse sweep, and we're just seeing why it has been such a tug of war between these two squads the entire year when it comes to the domain of these mirror RMP matchups. I need to highlight it again. We've said it so many times. I need to highlight it again. In your mind, how crazy is it to see Method playing at this level against, because this was it had to be the talking point. Is the team that's mastered this spec, they've only played this spec, are they going to be able to get the best of them, or is it going to be this multi-classing team? And this multi-classing team is still one of the best rogue mages in the whole darn world.
That is what is so insane. You see Ascendant, they are an RMP specialist. This is the only composition they really play. Method Black, they have diversified. They play all different kinds of setups. Sometimes we question, Raikou, he's been on the bench a lot. Swapsy's been playing, but they can still play the rogue mage setup just as well as anyone in the world. And these last few games have been so beautifully done by Method Black. I feel like Ascendant, they need to get up, they need to walk around, they need to shake it off, because they cannot be feeling too hot after getting schooled that hard.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and also on the side of Method Black, I mean, you want your water boy to look that darn good in the arena. There's a lot more than hydration that he's serving up right now, right? We've made our jokes I've made my jokes over the past few weeks, because he has got to just watch for the most part. The second he steps into the arena, it's like, oh yeah, Raikou's still the best. Raikou's 100% still the best. And going in further into the year, maybe potentially even into BFA, having Raikou on your team is just one of the best players you could possibly have. But Ascendant, they just need to grab one more. They're going to have 2 chances to do it here. Method can't slip up. Zico, what's changed? I've asked you coming out of the last game, now here, why has Method been able to pick up so much steam?
They've just turned up. It's the same thing. Method in these games have looked completely different towards the first 3 games, and that could be because Ascendant are maybe feeling the pressure a little bit that they're so close, or that could just be because Method are feeling the pressure because they know, hey, we might get 4-0 and it's going to be really bad. So let's focus now. Let's show them what we got, you know? So I think it could be a mix of both as well. But one thing is for sure, Method is playing out of their mind in these games, and it's been a joy to watch all the double rings of frost that are coming in, all the ways that Method are stopping Ascendant when they are trying to do their setup and still landing their own, and all of these Ebon bolts, very, very high impact spells, connecting and forcing these blocks and providing them with these kills. So it's been great to watch, and I honestly think we're getting a best of 7 here that goes all the way to Game 7.
And the other thing that we need to note, when we are in this best of 7 scenario, the map pool dwindles down very far. So you get to see some maps that you don't typically see in the grand final. And as we can see, Tiger's Peak, Blade Edge Arena, and Blackrock Hold, the only 3 remaining. Tiger's Peak going to get locked in. A very standard map. Makes a lot of sense. If we do make it to a best of 7, it's either going to be Blade's Edge or Blackrock Hold. And we know just how cheeky those maps can be. But that is the question. Are we going all the way to that game number 7? Will Method Black tie it up here, or can Ascendant just close out the entire tournament and be our EU champions?
Method Black dodged death again in that last match. They need to do it 2 times in a row, and they'll be taking this cup. It'll be the 4th one in a row for them. Ascendant need to take a deep breath, get calm, cool, and collected, because they looked phenomenal in the first 3 games. If they can just step up for one of these matches, they will be the victors.
Yeah, either one of these teams can ride that initial momentum from having a good opener or reversing a good opener. So, like we said, it's interesting to see how they open up. Is anyone going to find a sap? Waz is on top of Mara right now, actually landing that sap. That is not a good thing for Ascendant, as all 3 members dogpile in. You can see Akros charging in, gets the kitty shot onto Chaz, cheap shot onto Raikou. Waz responds now, cheap shotting up everybody. Can there be a follow-up CC? It looks like Ratify is going to be able to avoid it for now. Nice fear coming in from Chaz, though, as Raikou looks to position himself, but he's taking a lot of damage, landing the polymorph with the Icy Veins. Mara just spamming out the polymorphs onto Raikou, realizing he's going to have to play defensive, but he is forced into that first ice block.
Yeah, it's going to be a lead for Method Black. Mara still falling more and more behind. Wild's looking to try and sap out of the sheep, potentially not able to find it. They're going to go for a kidney shot instead, and Mara is on hypothermia. They drop the smoke bomb. Everybody in crowd control. Method Black with immaculate cross crowd control in these past 3 games. They basically shut down Ascendant entirely with this play.
I can't even believe what I'm watching right now. In the first 3 games, it seemed like Ascendant had just ascended to a new level of RNP mirrors, and now, Method Black on the verge of, getting 4-0'd. They have turned it around, and they have just stomped them, literally 3 games in a row.
Ever watch like those cartoons as a kid where like one guy's powering up and it looks so obvious he's gonna win, then all of a sudden out of nowhere the other guy powers up and then he's winning? It's
no,
like,
I've never seen a show
you never
like
seen
that.
a show like that? Okay, then fine. Just me, then.
I was actually about to say the same exact
Oh,
thing,
yeah?
Sid, so
thank
we're
you.
fine. I was actually going to say it's like, this is like, you know the movie Freaky Friday where they like switch places?
Yeah.
They're switching places, except one of them was like the kid at the birthday party hitting the piñata, and the other one was the piñata, and now they've switched places. And honestly, Ascendant's looking like a piñata that's just being broken apart by Waz blindfolded with a baseball bat.
That beautiful mosaic that's getting vandalized by Method Black.
Candy's about to fly out everywhere, and that candy represents pro points for our World of Warcraft pro tournament. But the thing that I really do want to say here is, I brought this up earlier today to Adrian. I said, how many game number 1s has Method Black lost? I feel like this is a team that actually does really heat up in series. A lot of the times I feel like, try to avoid talking about things like that because they are super intangible and it's hard to actually prove what is going on. But Zico, in my mind, I feel like we see Method Black do this quite a few times. I feel like Method Black is this team where they might come up to a slow start. It doesn't really faze them to figure out what they need to do. And even if it's a reverse sweep, they find a way to do it. And all of a sudden, once again, when they could have just been completely shut out, they can get themselves to a game 7.
Yeah, well, I think they are preparing well for their number 1s, but in those scenarios where they do end up losing them, I do think that they learn very quickly from their losses. They have a lot of experience on that roster. I mean, even if Swapsy isn't playing, you can be damn sure that Swapsy's sitting there telling his teammates, hey, you guys are doing this wrong. You guys need to pay more attention to this. Don't let them do this. He's there, he's being vocal, and he's still trying to contribute. And having a player like that kind of calming everybody down after a loss and telling them where things go wrong and making sure that you have a constructive discussion rather than that you say, oh yeah, you should have done this, or I should have done, or you didn't do this. It's much better for the overall series, of course. And I think they are very self-critical players. Otherwise, they wouldn't be in the finals. All of these guys are. That's why they are consistently trying to think, okay, what can we do different? How should we approach this? Should we try to kill the rogue one game? Should we try to do this? With that said, though, the last game was definitely just 100% choke on Ascendant's part. Like, Acro went for that kidney shot on Chaz. Maru was in ice block when he did it, so Maru had to leave his ice block before he had his trinket up. Then he went for the poly, got kicked, got smoke bombed on. It wasn't like he got master spelled and forced into that position. It was a misplay that put him there.
I also do want to say, though, it is really crazy to think about, okay, when you don't have Swapsy on the bench being the one kind of giving you that insight, that calm mind, the level head, it's Raikou. Like, that's actually nuts. Like, those are the people that aren't playing giving you feedback. A very, very strong team indeed. But on the side of Ascendant, we don't mention it as much because we haven't gotten to see him play nearly as much this year. But an incredible player, Venruki, on the side of Ascendant as well, who's going to be giving that feedback.
Yeah, there's no question about it. Valet, I mean, he's been in the top tournaments around the world for a very long time. At the Spring Finals, we did see him get to play a little bit of that Shadow Priest, but that is not obviously their best composition. I feel like moving forward into BFA, Valet is going to be a much bigger asset to their team in general, as some of the the meta gets shifted up a little bit. But yeah, it's really important to have that fourth player who can be there and, like Zico said, calm everyone down, keep everyone making sure they're playing their A game, because right now Ascendant, this is where they have to rise to the occasion, because their confidence has got to be hurting at this point after those last 3 games.
Yeah, coming into Blade's Edge right now, Ascendant needs to do what they did in the beginning matchups. Method just needs to keep up everything that they have done here. And I am very curious to see Method Black, how many times they really have heated up towards the later end of a series. But Sid, we may see their fourth tournament win in a row, 4th online cup win in a row.
Yeah, you're right. I'm just I'm shaking my head like,
did I mess up?
No, you didn't. But I was just like, yeah, I actually can't believe that.
I'm starting to wonder if that great Warcraft quote is actually true, where no king rules forever, because in this case, it might be that Method Black are just the king that rules forever.
Now, Warlock damage is looking really good on BFA, too.
Raikou,
some kings rule forever.
I was going to say, Raikou and Waz's team last year with Minpoiki and Zuniaki, we thought their team actually had no chance of not getting through the European regionals and potentially winning BlizzCon. It looked like their best year ever, but we were wrong. This year is even better for this roster of Method Black, and they have just been impressing me so much. They just have both teams 1 game away.
This is, both of these teams, sky is the limit for the whole year, but this is the only game that they can think about. This one will decide it all. Who is going to be our EU champion, Method Black or Ascendant?
The gates have opened. Both of these teams have come out swinging. Ascendant led this series 3-0. Method Black have swung back with a 3-0 of their own, and this is it. Everything on the line. Who is the king of Rogue Mage Priest? We find out here and now.
Yeah, this is a good opener for Method Black once again. Ratify into the CC. Maru uses Icy Veins as Temporal Shield, looking to get aggressive. Paint Suppression going to be used by Chaz early on a Raikou to keep him aggressive on his Icy Veins. Who's going to find the Polymorph? Raikou taking most of the damage with a nice dash. Raikou almost exploding in the opener.
That was a cold snap ice block. He got locked on Frost. Raikou is down 2 ice blocks at this point. This is a huge lead for Ascendant. I don't even know if this is a lead that Method Black can come back from in this position. Ratify premonitions, but the second too early. He's gone to a full polymorph. They need to at least get an ice block from Maru with this polymorph. They're not even finding it though. Maru knows they've got this game in the bag at this point. He just needs to avoid the stun. Chaz gets kidney shot away. Preemptive temporal shield. Acro is trying to sink his teeth in, but this temporal shield should absorb a lot of this damage. We see a kidney shot of Ratify, but he's still on polymorph DR, I believe, so there's not going to be any capitalized play off of that. How is Raikou going to stay alive then?
Waz did such a good job there, slowing down the CC coming in from both Ratify and Maru. Full blind now onto Chaz, into a full Ring of Frost. Raikou taking more damage. He trinkets out into the Ring of Frost. Unfortunately, it's not going to be any follow-up damage. Nice cheap shots coming in from Waz once again. Another kidney shot on Chaz. Evan Bolt being loaded up by Maru. Lands it onto Raikou. Big damage. Raikou needs to stay alive. Smoke bomb gets dropped, and Ascendant has done it. They take the final game of the series, going up 4-3, finally dethroning Method Black.
Ascendant says that they will not be reverse swept, not here in the grand finals. They have finally done it. This has been a mirror matchup that has played out throughout the season, and I bet your bottom dollar we're going to see it again, and this fares very well for Ascendant. We said that Ascendant needed this a lot more, and that is just a fact. We know that Method Black, I mean, they would have to do some crazy, crazy things to not be going to BlizzCon at this point. We talk about how many, who else is going to be able to pull down that many tournaments? You'd have to pull down every single cup that is left in the year. Every single cup that is left in the year for Europe to beat Method Black.
For one team to get ahead of them.
For one team. Yeah. We would need to see one team pull down every single cup, granted that they didn't already have one in the bag. That is how few opportunities are actually left. They are in such a good spot for the overall year. A lot of that's going to come down to their flexibility, but this matchup is one that is very evenly matched between Ascendant and Method Black, and Ascendant is in a worse spot than Method Black for the entire year. Now they're going to pull down those 180 points in Zico. They're starting to put themselves back in LAN range.
Yeah, absolutely. And not just for the BlizzCon LAN, but for the Summer LAN. Before this, Ascendant didn't make top 8 on the first European Cup. So this was a very important win for them, because now they passed Tempo Storm, which did play 2 cups, and now they have a kind of an even footing up there in the upper portion of the point distribution, so to speak. So this is great for Ascendant. They just need to have one solid showing in the next one, and they will grab this easily. And this is such a great opener. Look at this. Maru double blinking over the bridge so Waz can't reach him, getting that polymorph right there onto Chaz, and then there is the counterspell onto Raikou, kick on Frost, re-polymorph, fear from Ratapai, and Raikou's kicked on Frost here, so he's gonna go down. So he has to cold snap and ice block, because when you cold snap, you reset your ice block CD like that. And of course, Chaz overlapped his trinket right there. So this opener gave away the 3 most important defensives on the side of Method Black, and Ascendant still had blind. So all Ascendant had to do was like, okay, let's just chill, wait for damage, wait for orb, and then here we go, full blind onto Chaz. Maru is gonna reach Raikou. Raikou's doing his best that he can to kite away. Beautiful Ring of Frost is gonna be casted out of that blind. Airborne Bolt is gonna connect right there onto, no, he gets kicked. Beautifully done by Waz. Sheep shotting